Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. and today we are got another Dr. Insanity video. Don't worry, this is gonna be the last one for a few days, at least. This is when teen killers realize they've been caught. This will be the last with Dr. Insanity. I'll probably go about a week without reacting to him, because I realized I've reacted to him too much to the point we're probably all getting sick of him. This stuff, so I'll take a break from him, maybe do some other stuff. But anyways, let's get right into this. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, hit subscribe button, comment, stick down below. There we go. Wait, again, repeating because I don't know if I said it. When teen killers realize they've been caught. That's the title.
Usually, cops expect the killer to be a full-grown adult. But what happens when it's secretly a teenager?
You're just arresting me on a charge that's made up.
On the 2nd of May 2023, a single stray bullet was found on the floor of the school's cafeteria. Immediately, the school was placed under strict lockdown, and police started to search every single student in the school. They knew how serious this could be, as at any moment, the owner of that bullet could have stepped forward and unleashed deathly havoc on the entire school. However, in a sudden turn of events, a student approaches the police and asks a strange question.
Oh, somebody find something you know about?
Because I had a bullet in my pocket, but it wouldn't, like, it's not like I'm planning anything.
Oh,
I dropped it on the
so
ground.
you okay?
I didn't know I'm not allowed to bring a bullet.
Okay, why don't you call? He's gonna call. Wait,
Why do you have a bullet in your Hold on. No, we're not just gonna gloss over this. Sure, this guy might not even had a weapon. Here, he might not even have a... Why do you have a bullet on you? In general, ignore what could have been. Why do you have a bullet on you in the fucking first place? You have no reason to have a bullet on you. You shouldn't just be carrying a bullet. No one's just carrying bullets around.
I'm not like a school shooter.
The student was identified as Nolan Rosen, who, despite all evidence to the contrary, claims he's not planning anything, and he's not a school shooter. Obviously, though, the police just can't take him at his word, and they have to treat him as an immediate threat to the school's safety.
Fair.
If I was a school shooter, I wouldn't tell you. You know what I mean? Today's day and age, you know, they gotta keep everything safe. That's just it.
well, let me ask you this while I got you right here. And just be honest with me. You didn't bring any gun to school, did you?
No.
That's the only. You only had one round.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't like bring a gun to school.
No, okay, I know.
That's not my intention.
You know I gotta ask though, right?
Was there a bullet found there? It's gotta be the reason we're doing all this. When I looked it up, it said there's no statute for bringing up, like there's no law against bringing a bullet to school.
Okay.
I'm just like letting you know.
Despite Nolan's oddly calm demeanor and bold claims, the cops decide to search him anyway for the exact reason Nolan's already brought up. If he was a school shooter, he wouldn't tell them.
All right, just turn around, face over here real quick. Put your hand on that table for me.
Oh, I got more bullets. I got two.
Okay, don't put your hand in your pocket. Just keep your hands on the table. Just put them on the table. Just put them on the table for me real quick, okay? So I'm gonna have to search you. 2 bullets in this one.
Literally, if I thought I was doing anything wrong, I wouldn't bring.
I got you. You just know in today's day and age you can never be too safe, right?
Right there.
Okay, that's all of them?
Yeah.
Alright, so I do gotta continue searching, that's all. So,
Literally, half on there. So, 22 rifles, not even an assault.
Yeah.
It's not even an assault.
Right. 12-15-23.
Are these from a range?
No, I have a Henry repeating rifle. Kind of just use it as like a thing to like comfort me a little bit.
At home or?
Yeah. I don't like. I'm not. There's no ill. I have no ill intention.
Nolan tells the cops that he's
My man, when you owning a gun brings comfort to you, I question that terminology of I have no ill intention. Now, I believe I completely agree with one comment. I saw a comment that said you have no right to put him in a thing of teen killers. I completely agree. He didn't kill no one. He's not a teen killer. He's just a very bizarre individual who, when holding a gun and having a gun, gives him comfort. And carries bullets around him just on standby. I don't buy the terminology. This guy had no ill intention. I don't think he planned on this particular day to come and shoot someone, but I do think he mentally could have a problem that could cause that in the future.
He's actually worried about the threat of guns on campus and keeps a weapon at home because it comforts him knowing he can protect himself. This might make sense to him, but the cops suspect there's something more to this story.
I know why it would raise a concern, but I'm really scared about that stuff, like school shootings too. I'm like very, and it makes me anxious too that anyone can just walk into school and shoot it up. Like, you worry about that? Yeah, I worry about that stuff a lot sometimes.
You have a gun in your car?
Yeah, of course. Well, not of course. Like, I don't carry it all the time, but I just literally carried it in my car. Like, I don't bring it into school.
Is there a gun in your car right now?
Yeah. Well, let's go out.
You'll stay.
Yeah. They're in my bag. It's not an assault rifle. It's literally a .22 Henry repeating rifle.
I didn't ask.
For small game.
I just want to know if you have one there.
The
Okay, hold on a minute. Now this guy, this guy has turned himself into more and more of a suspect. You have bullets in your car, bullets on you. You have a gun in your car. Never mind, I know why they think you're a school shooter. You have every suspect of one.
atmosphere in the room changes instantly as Nolan admits to bringing a loaded weapon onto the school campus. The cop's perception of him changes from a confused kid to an active threat. And if he's comfortable bringing a weapon to school in his car, who knows what else he's not telling the officers.
True.
2 cops stay with him in the office, and the rest head out to search his car.
Watch that.
More ammo.
Yeah, just leave it right there for now. It's basically like just a .22 rifle, right? Like something to shoot rabbits with. Or a squirrel. Yeah.
How to check if it's loaded?
We'll check it. You put it in there, I think.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you gotta like cock that back to
Get inside.
this is how you
Yeah.
like rack it.
Chamber it.
The cops discover the weapon in his car and note down the serial number, but they struggle to determine if the weapon is loaded or not. So instead, they turn their attention to Nolan himself and try to decide what to do with him.
He's 18.
Yeah, he's 18, so I don't know what the higher ups want to do. If they want to take him out of here in cuffs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You verified that he's 18? We looked on
Yeah, I can triple check, but
Is he a senior?
he's a junior.
18-year-old junior?
Yeah.
Those are usually the ones that bring guns.
Meanwhile, back in the office, the other cops
That sounds sketchy. They don't seem to know. I'm glad the police are like, you're sure he's 18, right? And he's like, is he a senior junior? He's like, an 18-year-old junior? And they're like, yeah, and they're like, they're the ones that, did he just say, did I hear that right? Did he go that?
Yeah.
Those are usually the ones.
They usually are the ones to bring guns. That's not how that works. Okay. That is very bizarre to me. I did find that very weird, that wording.
why he'd even bring the weapon in the first place, especially if he wasn't planning on using it at all.
I don't bring the rifle because I'm like assuming I'm gonna have to use it. I just bring it because first of all it looks cool, and second of all it's like the comfort thing. Before I brought the gun, I'm pretty sure I was allowed to bring it. Like I don't think there was anything saying I'm not allowed to bring it.
Okay, I got you.
But I know it's like
Are you a senior?
in the modern age this is bad.
Are you a senior?
Yeah, no, junior.
Junior? Okay, how old are you?
I'm 17.
Gotcha.
18, sorry.
This is an issue that will come up a lot throughout the rest of this case. Nolan fully believes that there is no law stopping him from bringing a firearm onto school property. But this is, of course, fundamentally incorrect. Ohio Revised Code Section 2923.122 explicitly states that no person is allowed to bring or attempt to bring a deadly weapon into a school safety zone. In fact, it even bans the possession of objects that look like weapons as they may incite panic, just as Nolan has.
How does no one know this law? You are in front of police officers. The officers should know this law. How does no one know this law?
Today. Bear this in mind as the investigation continues.
I just see a lot of videos where having the gun prevents like altercations.
Like online videos
Yeah,
and
there'll
stuff
be a
like
different
that.
outcome and stuff. Like, there's one guy who was like 200 pounds bigger than this guy, and he comes up to his car and he's like, I want to fight you. It looks like he's about to rip him out of his car, and the guy just pulls out a gun, and the guy turns around and walks the other way, and it's like, that's all it is. He didn't even like do anything just because he saw the gun. He knows it's like, can't, like, it's over.
So that could be a case, but another thing, so I'm a subject control instructor, so I teach all the police officers basically how to fight like martial arts and stuff like that. You've heard of this 21-foot rule, right? If somebody has a knife within 21 feet of you, they're more dangerous than the guy with the gun because they can clear that distance quickly.
Oh wow.
But everything.
That's a nice skill. I never knew that. That's actually a cool thing to know. So, this is a thing police get taught. I don't know if it's a thing every police officer gets taught, but this is a thing he says. Where if there's 21 feet rule, if a person with a knife is 21 feet from you, they're more dangerous, the person with a knife, than a person with a gun, because the person with a knife can clear that distance quicker.
Come with me.
Unfortunately for Nolan, though, it's time for him to face reality. He brought a gun to school, and despite him claiming there was no ill will and that he had no idea there was a policy against it, the cops and school officials have already made their decision.
Well, surely you can imagine having a gun on school property is a major issue. So I am suspending you for 10 days with a recommendation for expulsion. And since you are also on a 504 plan, somebody from the special education department will be reaching out to you because we're going to have to hold what's called a manifestation determination meeting. But at this point, it is a 10-day suspension with a recommendation for expulsion for weapons, specifically a gun, and disruption of misconduct. I have to go fill out the rest of the paperwork.
I didn't disrupt anything.
The whole school was on lockdown, buddy. I'd call that about as big of a disruption as you could have.
Sorry. What?
So, the guy was like, okay, we suspended you for 10 days with the recommendation of expulsion for a weapon with the gun and for disturbance. I think it was something about disturbance. And then the guy goes, I didn't disrupt anything. He's like, the whole school is on lockdown, but that's about as big a disturbance you can get. And he's like, alright, sorry. So stupid.
The problem wasn't bringing the gun. The problem was I dropped the bullet. That was the problem.
And this still isn't the end for Nolan, as the cops take him into custody, and he's shown that the "it's not illegal if you don't get caught" logic is only a fallacy.
We talked to our prosecutor. It is against the law to bring a gun into what's called a safety zone or a school, right?
That's subjective.
What is subjective?
But you consider it like a safety zone.
Now's not going to be the time to contest it right now, okay? So basically what I'm telling you is we're going to end up charging you, okay? And you're 18 years old.
There's no law against that. Bringing a gun on the school property, there's no law. Like, there's no statute.
I'm telling you there is.
It's a policy, not a law.
No, there's a state law in Ohio. There's
telling you
also
there
another...
isn't.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna debate what is or isn't. We know what we have. We have violation of law, right?
I don't think there is a violation of law.
Okay, and you can think that, and we do arrest people that think they aren't in violation of laws. That does happen. And you have the right to believe that. You believe whatever you want to believe.
This is a newer job.
This is amazing. This officer ain't playing it because he's not arguing. He's just like, listen, we arrest people all the time that don't believe they're in violation of law. You can have the right to believe that. We're arresting your ass. That's just the end of the story. He broke a law, you're going to jail.
Generational problem. This is not like a problem that they had like back in the day. This might be like your first time.
This is this kid I want to smack just for the boldness of his stupidity. What world is it? This man's not there. He's not all there. Maybe he smokes too much. I don't know. He's smoking too much Mary Jane or something. I don't know. But he's doing too damn much here.
I'm dealing with a situation like this in your whole career. So I don't think you can just arrest me like that.
But we are arresting you. Put your hand behind your back.
You said I can
Put your hand behind your back.
I'm telling you this. I respect it.
It's okay.
This guy's crane is that this guy has a lot. I love the term "it's subjective" for what he for what a safety zone is. It's not the case. Also, your stupid ass, you're going to jail. Now, I don't believe again he should be on a thing for teen killers, but he is just incredibly stupid.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We're okay. Go ahead.
Nolan was arrested and charged with improperly handling firearms, possession of a deadly weapon in a school zone, and inducing panic. He pleaded not guilty to all of these charges, maintaining his story from the body cam footage. It's all too easy for kids to cause such havoc, and it's lucky that Nolan decided not to use his weapon for evil. just as Michael Beaver did to kill his entire family. But before our next case, let's first take a moment to thank our sponsor, Incogni, for helping us fund these videos. I'm sure you've gotten a scam call. These were the chilling words of 12-year-old Daniel James Beaver as he begged for the police to save him from his two older brothers, who were running rampant throughout his house, killing everybody inside. But less than a minute after the phone call began, Daniel could be heard screaming and begging for his life until the line went dead. Police arrived at the scene quickly and were greeted by a gruesome scene that had played out all across the house. Blood was found smattered around the porch, and a faint cry for help could be heard from inside. The plea came from 13-year-old Crystal Beaver, but everybody else in the house, except for 2-year-old Autumn, was dead.
One of these surviving Bever children, a 13-year-old girl, saying her brothers were fascinated by mass killing.
That's when you know you have two disturbed men. Two disturbed people who was fascinated with mass killing and chose to do a mass killing to their entire fucking family. All but a 2-year-old, apparently. They didn't have it in them to do that, to take her life. But everyone else, they took the life without a second thought. Like, that is sickening.
For at least a year.
Police heard commotion near the back door of the property and discovered perpetrators Robert and Michael Beaver covered in blood and smiling as if they were proud of what they had done. Robert was laughing and told police that killing more than one person had turned him into a god. Unfortunately, Robert's interrogation tape was never released to the public, but 15-year-old Michael's is fully available.
Robert's just one I want to see. Man who thinks he's a god clearly is fucking not all there.
And gives us some insight into what drove these boys to commit such a brutal crime.
I was hoping maybe you could kind of just go back at the beginning when all this started and kind of tell me what happened.
A couple months ago, we started talking about rampage and stuff like that.
Okay.
I didn't take it seriously at first, but then he started buying like body armor and stuff.
Where did he buy body armor from?
eBay and Amazon.
Robert's room was found filled with weapons and body armor, including machetes, hunting knives, and daggers. Apparently, they'd been collecting all of this for months, but when their sister Crystal told their mother about it, she simply passed it off as normal, saying that boys will be boys, and there's nothing to worry about. She could...
Okay, let me correct your mother here. Let me help. See, the reason your mom, you're dead. The reason you're dead is because there is a limit to boys will be boys. Boys will do stupid things. Us men will do stupid things. Us men won't go buying body armor and machetes and talking about killing people because boys will be boys. That is not part of that category. That is person needs mental help. When you're buying body armor and machetes and knives and a bunch of seat and you have all that, that is not boys will be boys. That is a next level type of thing right there. That's something that needs to be looked at more clearly. Y'all made them, that's why they did. Boys will be boys is not the category there.
Couldn't have been more wrong.
The guns, where did he start buying guns from?
He bought them online. I think the website's like Blood's Gun Shop, and he bought 2 Glocks, he bought a 41, and a shotgun. I forget, it's like a Mox thing. Then he bought 250 shotgun rounds on eBay. And then I think he bought close to 1,000 rounds for the Glocks.
Wow, okay.
Where was he supposed to pick this?
The ammunition, it was being shipped to the house.
Knives and machetes were one thing, but guns and over 1,000...
Jim, I'm sorry, if I would know, I'm gonna know that my son bought a gun and it was delivered to the house. I'm gonna know if my son bought ammunition and it arrives to the house. You better believe. You better damn believe. I ain't gonna take that as boys will be boys.
Rounds of ammunition are a completely different matter. So once they'd ordered it to their house, they knew that their parents couldn't be home when it arrived. But what did they even need all of these weapons for? It doesn't take 1,000 bullets to kill 5 people. Well, it turns out that the brothers had a much, much bigger plan.
Tell me more about making plans and what you guys talked about.
Making plans, we plotted every night.
Why did he want to do it?
Because he just, says he hates everyone he thinks society's pointless. And so he wanted to, beat, amount of other famous people like Columbine and James Deacon Holmes.
So did you guys have a goal? Did you have a number?
He just wanted, I think he wanted to collect 50. Okay.
The two boys stayed up late most nights talking and scheming, and once they realized...
How did Michael get in this? Robert's crazy. Robert clearly seems crazy. He seems like he's the one. Although I bet from Robert's perspective, either he'll confess. I don't know if he confessed to it all in his interrogation, or he just blamed Michael for it. But Michael's making Robert out to look like a crazy one who bought everything, which I can believe since he's probably the older one. But I will say though, how did Michael even get into this in the first place?
As they were both separately interested in murder, the die was cast, and from their perspective, there was no turning back. The boys had grown a bond throughout their lives due to their living conditions. Their parents, April and David Beaver, were somewhat abusive to their children. They were homeschooled and even told not to interact with children outside of their own family. This left them alone with their own thoughts a lot of the time, and their only perspective of the outside world was the one that they'd formed in their own minds. This is how they developed such a negative outlook on society, and what drove them to form the next part of their plan.
You picked a day, you said.
Yeah, which was yesterday night. Was the date.
How did you pick the date?
For the involved in how many packages and stuff would we have. Because all the ammunition, he didn't want them to see that. So we wanted to tell everyone at the house first.
Okay.
And then wait for all the packages to show up over the weekend. And they would take the economy to our state with the guns.
So, their plan was set. Michael even said their idea was to cut up and dismember the bodies of their family and hide them in bins while they camped out waiting for the guns to arrive. He even added the gruesome detail that they only left Autumn alive because they had planned to decapitate her with an axe a little while later.
My man Robert is pure fucking evil. My man Robert is going to hell. He's going to hell, and Satan himself is gonna be disgusted by this man. What the fuck? I thought these two brothers had snapped, but just didn't have it in them to kill and shoot the 2-year-old, and that's why she was left alive. No, I was wrong. Robert's just so fucking evil, he said he wanted to behead the 2-year-old. I have no idea. This is pure, unadulterated evil. This is next level evil. I'm sorry, these two men are going to hell. They're going all the way down to hell.
But of course, all of these ambitious plans fell at the first hurdle. So, what was it that happened that night that caused everything to fall apart for the brothers? The murders began with Crystal, who had entered their room at 11:30 p.m. on the 22nd of July, 2015, to the sight of them gearing up with body armor and knives. Michael lured her over to his computer, and Robert slit her throat from behind.
And so she fell down and started screaming.
Yeah, one of them kept stabbing her. I kind of freaked out because, And then my mom came in and she started yelling, called the police, get Dad. And then he came over and started attacking her.
So he stabbed your mom with the same knife?
Yep, same knife.
And where did he stab her?
I think in the neck too.
At this point, Crystal had managed to get up and stumble out of the door in an effort to escape, but Michael quickly followed her and dragged her back inside.
Is she still alive?
Yeah, she was still screaming. And then that's about the time Dad came down. They got a little bit of a fight, but then eventually Robert got him down and
did he cut his throat too?
The three eldest members of the family were now well and truly out of action. With their parents dead and Crystal's throat slit, bleeding out on the porch, they just left their 4 younger siblings, the people they thought would give them the least problems. This is also where we rejoin the story from earlier, and Daniel is on the phone with police hidden in his room.
I was sitting on the phone with the police. I grabbed the phone, which is my phone, got my phone. And I went into the kitchen and I smashed the underground.
Which was your phone?
Yeah, it was my phone.
I don't have a cell phone anymore.
Shortly after, Daniel too was stabbed 21 times in the back, shoulder, and chest. The final 2 victims were hidden in locked rooms, but Michael managed to convince them that Robert was attacking him too. This lured them out, and the brothers finished their attack by once more stabbing 6-year-old Christopher and 5-year-old Victoria to death. Throughout this interview, though, Michael has been placing a huge amount of blame on Robert, even
About to say, this is what I got, because I believe Robert. Now, I believe, because Robert actually admitted that his plan was to behead the 2-year-old. Then my man Robert, I believe, planned this whole, was the main planner. He bought the weapons, he bought everything. I can't buy that Robert killed everyone, stabbed everyone, did everything, and all Michael did was just stand by and helped. And watched. No. Michael, you're way more in it than you're leaning on.
at points saying that he was just standing there, letting Robert do all the work, and that he was only part of this in the first place because he knew Robert was going to do this anyway, and he wanted to be on his good side.
I didn't kill anyone, I didn't want to hurt anyone. I couldn't do it, so I was going to let him, kill everyone.
Yeah, but you stabbed somebody in the neck. I mean,
I just kind of...
How do you feel about what you've done now?
I didn't like it.
I mean, how do you feel about your mother?
I'm about to say, you still don't have emotions for someone who regrets it. You seem to be a guy so calm as fucking can be. For someone who had just killed and watched every member of the family die.
You watched her get stabbed, you cut her throat yourself, and you watched her bleed all over the place and scream. How does that make you feel?
Think about it.
Unfortunately, though, in his interview, Robert had absolutely no concerns telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth, eventually cluing the cops in that Michael may have had a larger part than he originally let on.
The guys that are interviewing Robert kind of gave me a quick version of what he's saying that you did, and you haven't told me everything, okay? So I know you're not being completely honest. I'm just one of hundreds of people that are going to look at this thing. We got the state police coming in, and every single stab wound that you inflicted, we're going to know about. Everybody's been stabbed, and you both had knives, and we know you both stabbed everybody. So you guys are kind of at the same level. Who's going to be honest and make this right, and who's a liar? Okay, which one do you want to be?
As is often the case, this simple rhetoric was all the cops needed to use to get Michael to open up and finally confess to being as big a part of the murders as Robert was. Michael admitted to slitting the throats of Crystal and his mother, as well as stabbing Christopher to death. And as usual, one confession led to another, and we gained even deeper insight into the minds of these twisted teens.
You only stabbed your family because they were in the way towards the bigger plan?
They were in the way and higher count.
This higher count, I'm confused. Is this a game?
It's more like kind of become famous and good.
It now fully comes.
2 men who, in their minds, so desperate to become famous, like they killed everyone in their families so they could be added to the number. They are fucking evil.
comes to light that the murders truly weren't personal to any extent, and that the entire reason for this slaughter, and any that would follow, was just for recognition and fame. This became even more obvious when searches of the home revealed rolling surveillance cameras and storage drives with all of their plans saved to them. Robert later revealed that they planned to make 2 videos, one to taunt the police with, and another to post online. The rest of Michael's interview footage consists of him writing a statement that unfortunately was never publicized. But whatever it was that he wrote must have been pretty messed up, as the detective watching over him couldn't even finish reading it, and reacted like this. Of course, at trial, neither of the boys stood much of a chance, yet Michael attempted to plead not guilty on the grounds of insanity. However, it didn't go so well for either of them, and they were both given 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole. The surviving children, Crystal and Autumn, were adopted by the same couple. However, things are totally different for Courtney Clenny, who didn't only...
All I'm gonna say, I'll keep this straight clear. 2 men born evil. That Autumn girl. When she gets older and finds out what the plan was for her, is gonna be in disbelief. The other girl who survived is probably has dramatic PTSD. Because you never know what's gonna happen.
Only kill her boyfriend, but thought she could get away with calling the police on herself.
And now all of a sudden this is all happening.
What's his name?
I just Christian Tobetchuk Robin Sully.
Christian?
Please, I'm scared of him.
On the 3rd of April 2022, Miami police received a terrifying phone call.
Can't get my arm. I can't feel my arm. Oh, my boyfriend is gonna stab me. Ma'am, what is the address? 130 Northeast 7 times. I'm so sorry.
27-year-old Christian Toby Abumseli was bleeding out in his girlfriend's lap with a brutal wound to the chest. When police arrived, pools of blood were found all over the apartment, and Toby was barely clinging to life. OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny had met Toby back in 2020. The two seemed to be deeply in love, but behind closed doors, things were completely different. The couple were known to have violent fights, and the police were even called multiple times to their apartment. But their biggest argument would take place in April of 2022 and result in Toby bleeding out and begging for his life. Courtney told police she had nothing to do with it, but police thought differently. So she was brought in for questioning, and a 5-hour-long interrogation began.
My apologies for being absolutely up.
I wanted to see the body cam where she tries to actually convince people that there was someone else who killed him. And she didn't do it. Despite the fact, it's fucking hard to make yourself sound innocent there, woman.
Covered in blood.
Listen, you don't have to apologize, okay? I completely understand. Alright? Things happen, and we can't control it. Okay? How long have you guys been together?
About 2 years. A year and a half to 2 years, yeah. Is he okay?
He's still at the hospital. They're still,
I know.
monitoring him and talking to him. So we're waiting.
Oh my God! So he didn't even have to have surgery.
Well, I don't know. They're still doing X-rays and stuff like that. So I don't know yet. I'm waiting to hear.
These two are gonna. I don't know how much they're actually gonna tell her.
That's all I have to know. Thank God.
The detectives tell Courtney that Toby is in the hospital, but alive. Detectives are usually unaware of how a suspect will react to certain information, so it's often safest to open by easing any worries they may have, and talking in a non-accusatory manner. This makes the suspect feel more relaxed and more likely to open up.
We just got back together. I had broken up with him, and then he came back the last 2 nights. And then started to argument, and I ended up getting scared, and I think that I overreacted, or not overreacted necessarily, but reacted, and I just didn't know exactly what might happen.
Do you guys work here in Miami, or?
That was a weird way she worded. She tried to word. She's like, she thinks she overreacted, but not overreacted, but then reacted and then don't know exactly what happened. That was the weirdest way to describe something. She got lost there.
Do you guys have your own business? I do social media, so I'm an influencer, I guess is what we'll call us, yeah, so influencer. What do you focus on, like Instagram or social media? Instagram. And what is it that he does? Stocks and crypto. Stocks and crypto. He just has stocks and stocks and crypto. We were gonna move into a house. So, have an apartment, and then we were like, maybe just move here for a year. And then once we got here, we were like, no, this is dope. Yeah. So, we have the dog picked out. The golden retriever, we're gonna name Mellow. So we were gonna get the house. So we can have a backstory. Because I have 2 dogs, and then we're gonna have...
Interesting here. So this is what's interesting to me. I don't know if it's because they've broken up and she says it like this. But as far as she knows, he's alive. But she keeps talking in the past tense. We were gonna have 3 things. We were gonna have a backyard. We were gonna have this. So she's talking in the past tense here.
3. So we're planning on staying here for a while. Sorry. It's okay, you don't have to apologize.
The detectives can tell Courtney is in a vulnerable state, but at the end of the day, they're there to solve a crime. Courtney's being investigated for stabbing Toby, and the only defense she's given so far is that there was an argument and things got out of hand. If Courtney did in fact do what she's being accused of, being forced to think about her past and future with Toby would really be messing with her emotions, causing her to become more vulnerable and hopefully lead to an easy confession.
Let's start from the start. You guys were supposed to take out your dogs to the park, right? And then what happened after that? Like I said a little bit before, I was doing laundry and tried to call my mom. She didn't answer the first time. And then he left. I guess he went to go bike over there. That's just what he said. I don't know if he walked or biked, but he told me he was going to bike first. Yeah, the bicycle? Yeah. Okay. And then he came back with a Subway sandwich, and I said something about like, oh, are you gonna like reshare your location with me? Like, did you want to share it? And he said, yeah, and shared it. And I was like, oh, when did you do that? And he was the other day, like when you were done with me. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, reshare it. And then he told, they kind of like turned into like a little like argument or something. And then he told me to reshare mine, and I was like, okay, yeah, I will. And then I didn't do it immediately. He asked me about it again. And I don't know what I was thinking, but just like something about, well, what if I'm somewhere you don't want me to be? Which I wouldn't have been. I love him. But maybe you don't want to know where I am. I guess maybe it'll just like hurt him because he was pressing me. And he ended up pinning me against the wall. I said like choking me on the floor. It's just like, he looked at my neck and I was like, I'm not saying like choking you like, whatever. But he had my like neck, like and this happened twice before, where I couldn't breathe and I was on the floor. Yeah. I could not breathe. And I don't think that he was trying to kill me, but I was scared. And all 3 times I have been scared. I'm on the floor. Have you been? Get my mom on the phone. So this happened like over by the door, and somehow was like over in the living room. He was standing by the couch, kissing for the kitchen. I was in the kitchen, and then he just like I could see like all the whites in his eyes, and he was like coming at me. And so I grabbed one of these knives. My mom got me for Christmas, and I grabbed one of them, and I was like, I swear to God. I swear to God, it was just like, I would be like, don't come anywhere closer to me. Because, earlier, I was having 2 other times I could have.
She's clearly emotional. And she's painting this as an abusive situation that she had to do it. She somewhat fought for her life in this situation. She was scared. don't know if that's clearly the case, considering the fact evidence of like the elevator. Clearly, she was the one smacking him and all that. So I don't know on that.
Breathe. I'm sorry. I couldn't breathe, and it's very scary. And I just think, like, just like this kind of thing where I was saying, like, do you know if he's okay? If he like, if he's choking me, and he's angry enough, he might like. I mean, this is different, I think. But if he's like choking me or like pinning me or something, and I can't breathe, he might go too long. So I grab my knife. And I said, "Don't come anywhere closer to me." I had absolutely no intention of using it. I'm on the phone with my mom, and he's coming at me like he's gonna grab either the phone or like the knife or something. And so I was just like, I was like, don't come any closer. It's coming at me, and I drew it. And I meant for it to go.
How far away was he?
So, well, I was by my fridge, and he was like by the edge of one of the chairs of the sofa. Like
comparing to what
10 feet. I'm trying to think in my head.
To recap, Courtney says that an argument started when the pair had both stopped sharing their phone locations that resulted in him pinning her against the floor and her retaliating by throwing a kitchen knife across the room, piercing him in the chest. Courtney also clearly states that her attack was in self-defense and specifically involved her throwing a knife 10 feet across the apartment that landed perfectly in his chest, causing him to bleed out and fear for his life.
So then...
That would be almost if that happened, I want to see that knife throw. Because that is a skilled knife throw. To perfectly throw it 10 feet and go perfectly in his chest, that is next level skill.
You were by the fridge and he was by the couch?
Yes, I was in front of the fridge. He was by the couch. And then behind my island.
Then what kind of movements did he make at the moment? He was gonna walk
running
up?
At me.
Running? Okay.
Well, charging, aggressively walking, something.
What was he doing? Like, was he doing something with his hands or?
Then he had his hands up. I couldn't tell you exactly.
Was he yelling at you at the time?
Yes.
Was that at the moment that he was charging you or earlier?
You know the one you need to go to? You need to look at a phone. That's what you need to do. You need to look at a phone. She already set herself up when she was on the phone with the mother the whole time this was going on. So...
Hearing one of the arguments.
It was before he choked me. Yes, it was before he choked me.
Okay.
Or whatever. But I swear to God, I was scared. I mean, after like what I was scared. And I was on the phone with my mom and it was still happening.
Yeah.
I was scared.
So you told me that he had you against the wall at one point, right? With his hands over your neck?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you end up from the wall to the ground?
Let me go, and then I started swinging on him because I had been against the wall.
Okay.
I started trying to hit him.
Yeah.
And then he put me on the ground.
He dropped you to the ground.
When I'm trying to remember like a whole situation of where I was very upset about something,
yeah.
Which I've learned this in therapy and whatever, it's like write down like all the details so you don't forget. Just like write it all out clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to you and makes sense to somebody else. But I haven't had a chance to have a pen and paper or my phone to like write down exactly what happened. And I haven't really even like fully thought about it.
Yeah.
So honestly my answer is I don't remember.
Okay. You guys have a history of violence?
Yeah.
You say you've been together how long, sir?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
2.5 to 2 years.
So how many incidents do you think you've had?
I don't know. But we shouldn't be together.
Have you made a report before?
No.
You've never made a report?
Oh, I did in Dallas actually, about a year ago. And he was saying.
So what happened there?
He had pushed me in the lobby, but it wasn't like a big deal, and they made it a huge deal.
The couple had also been involved in another incident in Las Vegas less than a year earlier. Police were called to their apartment after a loud argument was heard, as well as glasses smashing on the floor and walls. The apartment was trashed when police arrived, and Courtney's story was all over the place.
Why did you call for help?
Because we were getting really loud. We were getting loud. And I was like, oh my god, we're gonna like do damage to the room or something.
and not damage to each other. Like, I really want to, like,
Why would you
highlight
think?
that.
Why would you think that you were gonna do damage to their?
I like throwing something, or like,
This girl is all over the place of trying so. This is a toxic relationship that ended in death, but it is a relationship. It was a relationship where there's clearly domestic violence. I don't know who's at fault for the violence. It could be either. It could be both. There's couples where both of them are just violent towards each other. But in either case, it's goddamn. This girl's trying to, make sure she protects everyone and try to really highlight that they weren't hitting each other, which it seems a little weird because you wouldn't call police for just being loud.
Did you throw something?
did I?
Yeah.
No.
Did anybody throw anything?
No.
So why would you think that there is damage to their room to be made?
Because I've done that before in our house. And I...
What have you done?
Thrown a glass at him, a plate.
Did you throw a glass or a plate at him today?
No.
Okay. So if
No,
I...
this was before.
Okay.
I have a feeling this guy has a different story to tell.
So when I go to the room and I see a broken glass on the floor, where did that glass come from?
I don't know. I literally couldn't even remember how the fight started.
Okay, well...
Was there?
Yeah?
Well, I'm guessing her true, but that sounds like me. So.
Courtney was brought to jail and held for 12 hours overnight, but Toby refused to press charges and advocated heavily for release. This may seem like nothing, but police did conclude that Courtney had attacked him that night by throwing a glass at his head. If nothing else, it proves that Courtney was capable of attacking Toby unprovoked and opens up an entirely new avenue for this investigation. However, it also turns out that police had been in contact with the couple more recently. In fact, they'd actually been called by security to their apartment the day before the attack.
But the cops have been up there one other time yesterday for absolutely no reason. Absolutely none. They harassed not the police, but security guards from the office, like young security guards. Came up for no reason. Bothered him, bothered me.
The cops were called, however, and captured an entire exchange on body cams, providing a stark contrast to the story that Courtney gave here.
You didn't call.
I didn't. Nobody.
I called. You called.
What?
Okay.
But
What's
on
going on?
air?
Hold on, man. Let him talk.
Okay.
Let him talk. Okay. The front desk personnel, she informed us that Miss Courtney, her boyfriend, was trying to get into the elevator, and she had her hand out like this, and she was like, "Oh no, don't come inside the elevator." Okay. So we asked her. I said, "Do you want him to leave the property?" She said no. She don't want him to.
I did not say that. I said yes.
Hold on.
Courtney, what's going on? What do you need?
This girl is insane. This is off the. No one's. This girl does not know what she's talking about. This girl has lost it. This girl's not over there.
What?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you want us to do?
I want a restraining order against Christian Gonzalez.
We don't issue those.
Because, no, I'm serious. Can I do that? Where
You have to go to court. You have to go to
Okay,
downtown.
how can I make myself first?
Courtney is obviously extremely panicked in this footage and seems less concerned about any possible that she may have been sustaining and more worried about getting a restraining order before Toby can. It's also important to note that the building's security noticed her pushing Toby out of the elevator and screaming at him and mentioned absolutely no aggression coming from him. As the evidence mounts up, it's starting to get increasingly...
Oh, yeah, it's totally evident who the one that is the aggressor here is. And it's her. Because she wants to cause a scene. And she wants to commit violence because she just has a bad temper. And it ain't gonna go well for you, my friend. You going to jail, Courtney?
More likely that Courtney's whole self-defense story might be straying slightly away from the truth.
Yeah.
But as is almost always the case in situations like these, everything is still hearsay, and officially debunking her claims is going to be a challenge for the detectives. But after leaving her alone for almost an hour and letting her change clothes, they return to the interrogation room with some more news for her.
So you're living in a nightmare right now.
Yeah.
You know?
I will feel so much better once they just say he's stable.
Yeah.
And I've been asking.
And that's what we're waiting for. Okay.
I mean, I feel like at the end, I mean, if he's not, that's a lot worse for me.
So they've asked for an update, and I asked them for an update as well, so they're checking. Because they're...
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I would do with myself.
Well,
if he's not okay.
No matter what...
I mean, I clearly can't be here.
No matter what happens, no matter where this falls, right, it's out of control.
So we have to inform you that Christian did not make it. Okay. Unfortunately, the doctors did what they could. And
Christian is dead. Oh my God. This is not real, right? Okay. No, this is not real. Christian died? Can I please have a hug? Am I allowed to do that in here?
I'm sorry, this is a very cartoonish response. I'm sorry. Listen, this is cartoonish as fuck. Cartoonish?
No. I need to hug my mom. I cannot be left alone in like a room by myself.
This is insanity.
After this, no, that's not true. That's not real, right? Christian is dead.
She's really trying to make sure that is clear to her. Like, she's trying to almost make sure she knows that he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. You killed him. You did a good job. You killed him.
The last thing he ate was Subway. What I was saying to that other room, I said, God forbid, when, like, from far away, what if it had accidentally hit a little bit lower and he died?
We can't change what's occurred and get him the phone. So just step by step. We'll get through this, all right?
It's easy to tell by the detectives' reactions that they're fairly convinced what happened was indeed self-defense. In fact, one of them was even talking earlier about how he's sure she'd be allowed home that night and that everything was going to be fine. So it obviously wasn't hard for her lawyer to convince them officially that she wasn't guilty and she was let off without any charges. But remember, the detectives weren't aware of any of the evidence mentioned so far. All they know is what Courtney told them. So as time went on, evidence started to mount up, and the Abumseli's case was starting to become stronger and stronger. The body cam videos started to become publicly available, and the true nature of her previous arrests came to light. There were also unflattering videos such as this one showing her drunk in public just days after her release.
Yeah, and they're seeking justice. Yeah,
What?
I'll videotape her. Right now, you should go. Yeah, you should go. Because you just know her boyfriend. Yeah, you did. Yeah, and yeah, okay, cool.
Sure, people make mistakes and drink too much. But when you're seen acting like this in public just days after bawling your eyes out in an interrogation room, you don't exactly get painted in the best light. Just days later, footage secretly recorded by Toby was found on his phone displaying Courtney violently screaming at him, using aggressive language, hitting him across the face, and using racial slurs.
You literally talked to her without telling me!
Courtney, I was on a bike ride and she passed me and I said hi. You and Courtney are having a live chat. My bad, I forgot to tell you that. That doesn't make you to act and call me. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I want you to get away from me!
So due to this and many other accounts stating that Courtney was well and truly the one, she was officially taken to court by Toby's family. This is where the final nail in the coffin was delivered by a medical examiner who'd observed Toby's body and come to a conclusion.
Now, based on the information you received that the defendant was alleged to have thrown this knife, do your observations support that?
If the person who supposedly did this is an expert knife thrower, and the knife is the type of knife that you can throw, I guess that could have happened.
Did you receive any information that the defendant was a knife thrower?
No.
So based on that fact that you did not receive that information, would it support that?
No.
And what would you expect to see a knife do if someone just flung it at somebody?
It would just hit the body and bounce off.
Now, as a result of this case, did you come to a cause, or did you make a determination as to the cause and manner of death?
Yes.
Could you please explain those to the court?
The cause of death was stab wound of right subclavian artery. The manner of death was homicide.
As of April 2000.
Ooh, that's straight to the point right there. That's straight to the point.
2023, Courtney is currently awaiting what's become one of the most anticipated trials in modern history. She faces life in prison on account of second-degree murder with all of the evidence stacked against her. It's not looking good for her as we prepare to see if she'll be spending the rest of her life behind bars.
Oh, she will be. She will be. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this reaction video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.